I'm waiting on the confirmation. Still waiting. And here we go. Hello, everyone. I am here with David of the Danish WTC team. David.
Hello.
And we have gotten a hold of the Bob Army Lists Battle of Britain. We're going to do reviews. David, what can you tell the people about your qualifications for reviewing lists?
Yes, I consider myself a fairly good list builder, I think. I go at it from a slightly different angle than most. I try to, instead of follow the meta, I kind of hate the meta. I try to break the meta by doing other things.
Yeah. You're our counter meta guy, and at the same time, you're also the team's best painter, and
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely the best painter. I don't enjoy painting bold action myself, but it's really great having people who have different kinds of ideas about list building in a group, a team, because I think I'm very meta myself, more or less. Whereas as you go counter meta, and that's a good balance because it means that we can sort of reflect on each other, what's good, what's not, how can we beat that, and yeah, so that is really great.
Yeah.
We're going to go through 8 lists in this video,
Okay.
and we're going to go through. Basically, we're going to go through them alphabetically. So we're going to start at A's, and I am going to share my screen. And the format is we will read through the list and then just give our gut feeling as we go along.
That's good.
Disclaimers are, as always, this is just 2 guys on the internet giving their opinion. We're not professional at anything. If we diss your list, I am sorry in advance. If we like your list, well, congratulations. Our opinions don't matter, but that's what we do here, right?
Yes.
Here we go.
What is the pack? What is the Bob pack?
Well, yeah, maybe we should talk a little bit about the Bob pack. I've already covered it a little bit in a video, which at the time of recording, I haven't released yet, but will be released when this video is released. It's 1250, and you can bring 1 or 2 generic reinforced platoons, a single theater platoon, or a single tank platoon.
Okay.
So at 1250, you
platoon.
can really max out on all the goodness.
Okay.
What would you do, David?
Maybe inform me of what are the scenarios first.
Because... Well, we don't actually know the missions, but we know that they're using the Jugger Pack missions, I guess. So there will be some missions that have kill points. They sort of are very similar to the book missions, but with slight modifications.
Okay.
And one of the modifications is that many of the placement missions, like sectors, have kill points as an extra thing, as does some of the objective missions as well, as I believe. So, however, in the pack, we have to be aware that kill points don't really count towards your secondary score points, which is unusual. Only victory points count. So what would you do?
I mean, 1250, I'm always going to be drawn to doing something with tanks with my Americans. I love my American tanks. That being said, 1250 and only having 3 infantry platoons is also really rough.
Yeah.
I might opt for the dual generic and just have 2 really good tanks. I'm not a Stuart fan. I hate the Stuart.
Yeah.
18 shots, yeah, whatever. I don't hit anything anyway. I need something else. So I usually go for bigger tanks. So I might do that, and then make sure I have enough infantry to deal with other stuff.
Yeah, and with 1250, you do have the points to actually buy yourself 2 Shermans if you want to.
I think I would go for 2 veteran 105s.
Ooh, with the gyro stabilizer and all.
Gyro stabilizer, a howitzer, medium howitzer that just blasts you out of the water.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. So let's see what other people think about this. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. And I hope you can see it now.
Again.
Right. This is the lists that are in right now. I know that right now they have 25 players, so I know that they're going to try and fill the last spots if they can. But the deadline for list hand-in has been and gone, so these are the lists anyways. The first list that we're going to talk about is Alan Wells. And I'm going to enlarge that if I can.
But there was no dice cap, right? It was just 12,
There's no dice cap, but there is a little bit of a buff for MMG teams and HMG teams because they get one of the Jugger Pack rules that you give an extra pin out. Right, I'm going to enlarge it here. Right, so Alan Wells is bringing Bulgarians. Very unusual to see Bulgarians. The special rule, if I remember correctly, is that you can't outflank forward deploy against Bulgarians. So they take the enemy head on. He's got 18 order dice.
I think they can also choose an Axis tank, right?
Yes, they can. Yes, and I think he has. Let's just check. Yeah, Axis support. He brings a Hetzer.
Okay. Cool.
So 18 order dice, very good order dice count. Inexperienced lieutenant. He's got 8-man infantry units.
With a Faust.
Or is that 7? It's 7 men,
no,
isn't it?
7 regular and NCO with SMG. Yeah, 7 men, 1 Panther
7 men,
Faust
yeah.
and SMG.
SMG and a Faust. Yes. So good skirmish units here. A regular sniper, regular medium howitzer, regular anti-tank rifle, regular medium mortar with spotter, regular MMG team. Here comes the MMG teams, right? And a Semovente.
That's the one with a bunch of. No, I think isn't that a Italian?
That's an anti-tank. It's an anti-tank hunter. Yeah.
No turret, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I think it's hole-mounted.
Right.
And a second lieutenant in the same platoon. Again, 2 skirmish units. Another sniper, so double snipers, double howitzers, double AT rifle, and a CB-33. I guess that's some sort of transport. Don't really know what that is. And a Hetzer. So for me, he's going all in on anti-tank tank choices here, and then a lot of infantry. What do we think?
I'm a little bit thinking this is a very foot sluggy army. I'm curious as to know what the CV something is.
Yeah.
CV-33. If that's a transport for 60, that's quite an expensive transport. So it might be able to transport like 18 guys.
I'm sure someone in the comments will tell us what a CV-33 is. By the way, just for you viewers, I never, and not when I'm bringing on guests, I never pre-read everything and go over everything. I'm not list checking for this event, so I don't do that. I just look at the army builds, look at the dice count basically, and give my feedback. Yeah, I think the dice count is good.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, I would have liked to see spotters for the medium howitzers maybe instead of for the mortar.
Yeah, especially because you're buying it regular. And you could save a few points, right? You could buy an inexperienced then and give yourself another MMG team. I even think you could buy the MMG team inexperienced if you wanted to.
Exactly.
Just because of the pack, you automatically get that 1 pin.
Yeah. But I mean, the howitzers, as they are there, they can only pretty much shoot straight. Because they also have the minimum range of 30 inches to do indirect fire, meaning it's going to be hard to place them where they can see indirectly and still fire. Depending on, I have no idea how Bob tables will look like. If they're anything like WTC
I
tables,
guess they'll be more cluttered than WTC tables, but that's just the intention, I guess.
Yeah. It's a very anti-tank list, I will say.
It's a very anti-tank list. So
they will be able to take objectives and hold against the tank platoon because nobody wants to ride up against 7 men with a Faust.
No. And
Times
with
5.
that amount of movable anti-tank guns as well, it's
Yeah.
going to be difficult for them to. So it's very anti-tank. I guess Alan here thought that there would be a lot of tank lists
He
going
might very well be
to.
right. Or
make-
does the Hetzer have? Does it have anything besides its big ass gun?
No, I don't think it does. Maybe it has
No,
a
LMG.
crew-fired MMG or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Something like that.
It's an expensive gun, expensive anti-tank gun.
It's really expensive. So for me, this becomes, just because some of the choices here are too expensive. So it's not point optimized for me. This becomes sort of a 2.5, maybe a 3 list, depending on how well it hits the counter
I would
meter.
probably put it at 3 because it does have a very good counter. It's countering very well against a lot of tank lists if there are any.
Yeah.
And the thing with the Hetzer, it's a damn cute tank. I love the Hetzer. It's
Yeah,
such a
it's
beautiful,
really cute,
beautiful
yeah.
little car that just bundles around.
Yep.
Nice
It
figure.
is cute.
Nice mini.
Right. So that was the first list, Alan's. And then we have Alex, which is a Soviet list, written in this format, which is a little bit annoying, but okay. I think he used an army builder that I am unfamiliar with.
Yeah, me
So
too.
it's a generic reinforced platoon. It's got a free rifle squad. It's got with all the trimmings, and then it's got a green rifle squad here of 8 men. I guess maybe
How do you see 8 men?
No. It's 84, so it's 10 men.
No.
No, it's 11.
It's 12 man, inexperienced NCO, and 11 inexperienced soldiers rifle.
That's it.
So it's a full squad.
See, I can't read this format. It's really difficult.
That's annoying.
So a green extra free unit, basically. Or it's not the free unit, but looks very similar. Then it's got a submachine gun squad, which is very expensive. It's got 10 SMG regulars
and an
LMG.
But the LMG doesn't provide the extra pin, does it?
It does not. So for me, that's not worth it.
Into an SMG squad. I don't understand that.
No, me neither. That seems counterintuitive for me because the LMG wants the range and the SMGs wants to be in your face.
Yep. I mean, if you go to an objective and just sit on the objective, they have still the LMG to fire, but it's just 4 shots. It's not going to be
it's not going to be enough. Then he buys a first lieutenant veteran, very, very, very expensive.
With 2 extra guys.
I can understand that SMGs. But it's very expensive for just 3 veteran guys.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make it a miniature infantry unit here.
Yeah. I mean, they are good little offensive skirmish. They can possibly take and hold an objective quite well because those 6 shots are enough all of a sudden to be a threat. And 3 guys charging in with tough fighter is also all of a sudden a potential threat.
It is, yeah. Then he buys an LMG squad with 9 regular riflemen and an LMG. I don't understand this unit. What is this supposed to do? Is it a push unit or a backline holder? I don't know.
And an SMG on the NCO.
And an SMG on the this is a thematic list, isn't it?
It seems like.
But
from a game perspective, again, now we are in the size where they can actually do some damage from range. True. They got 9 rifle shots. They got 4 LMG shots. That's 13 shots going down range if they're sitting on an objective or they want to charge an objective.
But they're not going to die because they're 10 men. So there's a lot of bodies in there.
But it's an expensive unit, I will say.
Yeah, it is a very expensive unit.
For 13
133 points. Yeah. And another green rifle squad, this time with 9 inexperienced riflemen.
The 10-man squad, and another one.
2 of those. So lots of. This is almost like a horde list, isn't it? There's a lot of bodies on the table here.
Yeah.
A heavy machine gun team HMG, that gets the bonus of delivering 1 pin automatically. It's regular here.
Okay.
I wouldn't buy it, I guess still, but it's got
it does
gun
have.
shield.
If we consider the fact that there might be a lot of both soft skin and armored, this is all of a sudden a real threat because it has the +1 pin.
Yeah, but only an 18-inch range, so you're gonna
No.
have to have it pretty close.
Why?
For
Why
vehicles
only?
for vehicles over half range, you go down.
Okay.
So
That's true. Yeah.
then he buys a mortar team, heavy mortar, regular. And for me,
With
that
no
lacks a
spotter?
spotter. Not
But
a spotter.
okay,
Yeah.
I would do that inexperienced, or I would get the spotter.
Yeah. And assist 2, I really like the assist 3. That overshines the assist 2 in my opinion.
But it's also a lot more expensive.
True. Yes, true.
And then
And
KV2.
and a KV2.
Well, I mean, it's a deterrent. It's a beast, and
Yes.
if it hits, it hurts so bad.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
ruin someone's day whenever it hits, and
Yeah.
you will get those hits. I mean, yes, it's
Yeah.
only 1 dice,
Yeah.
but if you are placed well,
Turret-mounted heavy hound.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
4-inch.
And it's veteran as well.
I don't understand the veterancy at
No.
all.
No, me neither. It doesn't need to be veteran, but I mean, you do have the points to run a complete over-the-top Death Star unit here.
If you want to try and look at the positive thing with the veterancy, it is that it cannot suddenly be pinned at all by anything that cannot penetrate a 10+ tank.
Yeah, and in the Danish meta, we see some people try to run large tanks with a lieutenant behind, and that's basically what's happening here, right? He buys the first lieutenant with the extra men. They're very survivable. Walking behind that KV2, he could be in hard cover all the time, giving the KV2 his morale so that it would be able to move every single turn, even though it was pinned.
But it also potentially gets less pins because anti-tank rifles won't hurt it. Light AT guns on long range can't hurt it. Not even give it a pin because it's a veteran.
Yeah. Very interesting build from Alex here. I don't foresee him ending in the top 5. How do you think he will do?
There's a transport, just a single truck.
Just
a single truck. Okay, so that's
regular with no MMG, which I don't understand.
I'm guessing it's for the SMG squad.
I think it is, yeah, because that can transport 12 men.
Okay, so
that would be for the SMGs.
It's a generic platoon. There are some very good Russian tools that I think could be incorporated in this list by simply taking away, for instance, the LMGs. Taking away the LMGs that are in this list will open up for, I think, 2 dog teams.
Yeah,
which would make this list so much more competitive.
Although I think that maybe this is a player who's had dog teams in the past and rolled a 1 and has had his KV2 blown up.
That's fair. That's always the risk with
the
dog team.
Right.
So, you know what? This list, if he hits with that KV2, he will decimate his enemy. If he gets 5 or 6 hits in the 6 turns that he has, he can win. Huge. Because each shot will pretty much break whatever it hits. No matter what it does.
But it does need a little bit of optimization in order to be truly competitive, because odds are you'll hit maybe 2 or 3 times with that KV.
Statistically, you'll hit 2.5 shots, right?
Yeah. Right. So that was Alex, and we're moving on to the other Alex Bondak. China. Oh yeah. This is the nasty stuff.
That
Chinese
means they
nationalists.
have which special rule when they're nationalists?
Oh, I don't remember the Chinese ones. It's not the Sparrow tactic one where you forward deploy everything. Chinese nationalists, I can't remember what their special rule is, but you can't do the forward deployment thing with your whole army. But But he does
But-
bring guerrilla cells as well.
Yep, they can forward deploy, right?
I think they can, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're 8-man pistols. So an inexperienced lieutenant, 2 guerrilla cells here, and he's got 1 more in his second platoon. So that's 3 8-man veterans forward deploying with pistols, tough fighter. They are going to sit up on objectives, or they are going to charge you, and you're going to be screwed.
Oh yeah.
Inexperienced levy squad.
Jesus.
I guess that's the free unit that the nationalist gets. Regular medium mortar with a spotter, regular flamethrower team, inexperienced suicide anti-tanker, one of those, a Bofors,
Nice.
an
I like
inexperienced Jeep, and a BA-20 flamer thing. How did they get Soviet gear?
I'm guessing nationalist means that they are Soviet.
Inexperienced second lieutenant for the second unit. Again, the veteran guerrilla cell.
What's big swords? Is that
Big swords. Oh, that is a nasty unit. I'll tell you. They are fanatic, tough fighter. So they are the ultimate I kill your unit and maybe lose 2 guys unit. They've got a pistol and they've got a huge 2-handed sword, and they just charge you and cut you to bits.
but 144
Yeah,
points for
extremely
8
expensive.
man?
Yes,
That's insane.
that is insane. But at the WTC, I faced I think it was a 12-man squad of these. And I just didn't touch them at all. I shot at them, pinned them, and that was it. I didn't go near them.
Fanatic tough fighter with Jesus. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they've got it's sort of like the Japanese Banzai rule that they can even charge even though they're pinned. So they're a really nasty unit. Regular medium mortar again with a spotter. Regular flamethrower team again. Inexperienced suicide anti-tank. Regular medium howitzer with a spotter. Inexperienced Jeep for the flamethrower, of course. An M4 Sherman with a 75mm and a Morris truck. 15 CVT, that's an 8-man transport, which means that the big swords or guerrillas can go in that.
You can't charge out of a truck.
Nope, true. 20 order dice.
I think this is a very, very nasty list. I can see this doing really well at the tournament. The tank choice, I don't know what Chinese nationalists can choose. I like the BA-20. That's always a good choice.
Yeah.
But that's a armored car choice, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if what else they can choose from in terms of, because the Sherman 75 is an okay tank. It has I guess it has the HE2 instead of HE1, which most HE5 has. Yeah. At least, I'm guessing it has the HE2. And I mean, it's an okay tank. It's a little expensive. I prefer the 105, which is 10 points less.
Yeah.
I think this is a brilliant list. I think this is going to wreck people's faces.
There's like 1 or 2 things that I don't understand. It's got all the tools for me, right? The one thing that it maybe lacks is a little bit more anti-tank capability, because suicide anti-tankers are not actually that good and that likely to kill you.
I'm not sure I agree. Because I mean they have 2 inexperienced suicide anti-tank. Okay, they are a threat. They utilize correctly. They can control the board if nothing else. The Bofors is a huge issue for the opponent because that locks down a lane. It has +2 pen. Yeah. While it may not kill a heavy tank, it will pin a heavy tank, and it's 2 shots, I think.
Yeah, it is. For me, that Bofors is actually an issue as well. Not a positive one, because with this amount of forward deploys, with this amount of infantry, you're going to block yourself off at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I can see the point of this. It means that he can focus more on other parts of his board by having that Bofors maybe backed up by 1 unit. it can effectively close down a rank, a flank, not a rank,
Yeah.
a flank.
Yeah.
I can see this potential, and the Sherman has a +5 anti-tank gun.
And this list
And the
has
two medium howitzers.
It has a lot of tools, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got the flamethrowers in the jeeps. It's got the suicide anti-tankers. It's got the HE coming in from the howitzer and the medium mortars. All of which
I would do both medium mortars without spotter and inexperienced, and that would save quite a few. That would save, that's 50 points. That's enough for another unit of something. Maybe an MMG team which provides the pin to back up the Bofors. That would be a great little combo team.
Yeah. It's got 20 order dice, which is a high count. So his assault units will be able to get the first order dice some turns and run in and kill stuff.
And so his BA-20 with Regge will also get the get the choice of when to do stuff.
Yes. So lots of good stuff here. How would you rank this? For me, it's a 3, maybe a 4. It's a tournament list, maybe a strong tournament list.
I would give this a 4 just because it has the possibility to deal with pretty much anything, even Gurkhas.
Even Gurkhas, yes. Gurkhas would hesitate running into those veteran units. Yeah, they would. Right. So that was Alex. And then we have Alistair. Alistair is, of course, has been featured many times on this channel. So let's see what he's doing. He's bringing 18 order dice, missing 1 point.
Alistair.
Yeah, and he's bringing Stalingrad Russians here. I think though he is, it's just his name for it because he's bringing double platoons. So it's a generic reinforced platoon.
Okay.
Regular lieutenant. He's doing something unusual here. A regular 2-man lieutenant.
That could be just to try and spend the points.
Could be, yeah. Veterans with a Panzerfaust, 10-man unit, very strong unit, very expensive though, but they are good push units. They can really take a lot of punishment, and because they're tough fighters, you can push them in, and you can even assault. But they're also really good skirmishers with 10 rifles, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a commissar, really cheap order dice. We have a veteran squad with submachine guns. Ooh, that is going into some sort of transport, I guess.
Why is the free squad fanatic?
I don't know. Is this maybe this is a theater list? I didn't think you could. Maybe Alistair's made a mistake. I don't know. And then we have a sniper team.
Yep.
2 dog mines, doubled, inexperienced. A regular heavy mortar with a spotter and 2 M30s. This has to be a theater platoon.
It is.
I didn't think you could bring 2 platoons if you were running theaters.
No,
I don't know what's happening here.
It could be a combination that we're simply not aware of, and the way I understood is you could bring one theater platoon, 1 tank platoon, or you could bring 1 or 2 generic platoons. But this looks like he has a theater platoon and a regular platoon.
It does. 2 M30s, that's going to be nasty, because then he'll alternate between turns, or he'll just double up with one of them if he's got good targets.
Yeah.
Gas Jeep. What is going into that? The dog teams. Yeah.
One of them at least.
Second platoon.
But there's not even a...
There's no lieutenant. Something odd is going on here. So maybe it was because Easy Army didn't allow him to pick the right things, and he's built this in Easy Army. So this is a single theater platoon, Battle of Stalingrad. That is why the riflemen are fanatic, because you can get that for free. You can buy fanatic on all your troops in Stalingrad.
Yes.
Alistair, he knows his theater platoons.
Of course he does.
And he knows what he's doing here. So Assault engineers, yes,
but
that needs some
why
transport
not?
as well.
Why
Sorry?
not? Why not? Body armor. It could be he cannot get body armor on them.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be, yeah. And
Yeah,
another
let's see
veteran
honest.
squad. So I'm thinking that with the veteran submachine gun squad here and the assault engineers, I'm thinking 3 universal carriers, 1, 2. He only buys 2. Okay, so one of them is going to have to foot slog. And of course a Dhaka Steward, though it hasn't got Recce, which is surprising to me, because if I was buying a Soviet one, I would get the Recce.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I'm guessing it's a matter of he didn't have the 10 points to do it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. For me, this list has everything you want. It's got it all.
One.
It's a really tough list. For me, this, I guess, is a 4, maybe a little higher. There's so much stuff here that you're gonna have to fight your way through.
I think I would, just to get the Recce, I would downgrade my heavy mortar. I know heavy mortar is it hurts so much. I love it. Yeah. But Recce on your one tank, the one tank that you have, it's definitely worth downgrading your heavy mortar to.
If you're watching, Ali, and I know you are, that is the only reason I call this a 4. That heavy mortar being regular and not inexperienced, and you not getting Recce on your tank. That's the only reason.
If only looking at the list, I would also give it a 4, and I would include the M30s. I think they're a little bit of more of a gimmick than necessarily that good. Because
it will make you spread out, and because he's got 2, he can actually fire them every single turn. But that is a very, very expensive single multi-rocket launcher, isn't it?
Yep.
So yeah. Right. So that is a strong list. I think for me, I think this might end up top 5.
Knowing the player behind it, possibly.
Knowing the player behind it, yeah.
And it's gonna be the most ugly painted list. We know that for sure.
Oh yes, it's going to be absolutely atrocious. Alistair, he of course paints very, very well. So yeah. And then we have Dave Cripps, Germany.
12 dice, Jesus.
12 order dice for 1250. Wasn't there at one point like an article on Warlord Games saying we recommend like a 1 order dice per 100 points or something like that?
Yeah,
somebody's been listening to that. Dave, that's not a good idea. But he has spent every single point, unlike Alistair.
1 point more than Ali spent.
Yeah. So, and it's a German reinforced platoon. He's got a 2nd lieutenant regular. He's got Hair Grenadiers with all the trimmings here. He's got assault rifles, LMGs, and double Panzerfausts. So
I like the double Panzerfaust. I like the assault rifle. I don't understand including an LMG into an assault rifle squad.
No, me neither. And they're full strength units, so they're really big, chunky units. Here we have another one,
but consider taking the LMGs out. It's suddenly, because that's a 20-point swing.
Yeah.
But if you if you take that 125,
that's 60 points.
Yeah. But if you take them out, so each unit would then be 125. I think that's okay for such a large squad with assault rifles and 2 Fausts.
Yes, of course.
That's kind of awesome. I just don't like the LMGs.
No.
Because they don't provide the extra Juggernaut pin.
No,
so
they don't.
No.
And flamethrower team regular light howitzer. It seems perfectly reasonable.
I would have taken what's the Howling Cow thing.
Yeah. Just because it's similarly priced. It's down in the low end of
half track with the autocannon. I love it.
Yeah, that's really good. We see this a lot. This 250/9 half track. It's really good. It's close topped. One of the most important things.
It's a must kill for me early in the game when I play against it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's one of the things that you sort of focus on if you can. And then a Panzer IV. This is where he spends his points.
So, question.
Yeah.
Does the Juggernaut pack have special rules for Tiger Fear?
Ooh, Good question. We can actually go and see. I don't think they do. The Jogger Pack does, but not for this event. No.
Okay.
By the way, I'll link the Bob Pack in the description for this video, so people can go and watch them for themselves. But no, they don't. So this is way too expensive. Big tank. Yes, you got a heavy anti-tank gun. You're not going to hit much with it. 2.5 times during a whole game, maybe not enough to warrant a 235 price tag.
No,
and then
possibly.
half tracks for everything. Hanomaks all the way. This is an armored German.
So one of them is the small one. So one of them has transport 5. What is that? What is that one transporting? You think the Flamer?
Yes, I think it's transporting the Flamer team, and the rest gets one of the Hair Grenadiers each.
I mean, from a thematic standpoint, I think this is an awesome list because it is almost true to form.
Yeah,
exactly what the Germans would bring. They would bring an LMG. They would bring 2 Panzerfaust. They would be sitting in a half track. I mean, kudos for the originality.
Really,
of just following through half tracks
all
the way.
lists we've seen, this is the most thematic one. This is the one where you feel like this is what a German armored mechanized infantry unit would look like. That's exactly what it would be.
And backed by a Panzer IV, I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. I think he will struggle in dice count. 12 is so low compared to some of the others we've seen and what you can do with 1250 that frustration
12
will
order
be.
Dice is low even for 1,000 points.
It's on the low side, but it does have a very expensive tank. So I think frustration will kick in once the opponent starts getting to dictate the game. But it will be, and if this guy can paint,
he will win the painting Alistair, you've got a real competition. If this guy paints, his theme is way better than yours.
Oh yes.
So
5 for thematic, tournament wise 2.5.
I think this is even lower. I think this sacrifices playability for theme in a massive way. I don't think
and that's fair. I will just say, if he gets the dice, which does happen sometimes, you get 3, 4, 5 dice in a row, even though you have the lower dice count. These units will tear anything apart.
Yes, just because they're large, chunky units.
And they arrive in a fucking Hanomag.
Yeah, they do. And just my OCD here, right? Look at the size. The size of the infantry units is 10 men. The transport capacity of a Hanomag is 12 men. What's with that, Warlord Games? That makes no sense. Could you please match up the unit? That just annoys me no end.
I'm not sure you should complain to Warlord Games as much as you should complain to the construction of how 250/1 looked. But
it's so annoying. Anyways, right. So that was Dave. Then we have Edward.
I hope Dave can paint. I want to see that.
I really hope he does well. Edward brings an 18 order dice British list. Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
General reinforced, yes. General reinforced, yes.
General reinforced, and it's a dual platoon here. We have a second lieutenant inexperienced with an extra man. We have 8-man paratroopers with rifles. 2 of those.
Stubborn.
They're stubborn. They're not going away. They're really good units.
Yeah, they don't care about flamers.
Yeah, they don't.
Well, I mean, it hurts, but they're not going to run away from
it. But with 8 men, you're not going to die, and you're not going to fail your order test most of the time because you're a veteran. So, It's got the free observer. It's got Canadian engineers with a flamethrower. Veterans. It's got 2 of those. All of them stubborn. Everything is stubborn here. And he's got vengeance. This unit is... This army is going to move whatever happens.
Vengeance is you get to remove a pin or roll to remove a pin?
You roll to remove. On 4+, you remove a pin.
And that's when you give the unit an order, you get to roll?
Yeah, when you give it an order test, you roll, and on a 4+, you remove the pin. So it's going to move. It's not going to fail its morale tests. It's very, very good. medium mortar with a spotter. We're seeing a lot of these medium mortars with spotters.
Yeah.
Sniper team, regular. Piat team, regular.
Yeah.
British Airborne Recce Jeep, twin MMGs, regular. Oh, for 45 points, that's the best you're gonna get.
It's so stupid. Yeah.
That's so stupid. I mean, an infantry-born MMG costs 50 points, and this has 10 shots and is mobile and it's got recce and yeah. Twin Bren carriers.
Yep.
5-man.
Oh, I like the tank choice. Yes, I love it.
And a Tetrak.
I love
which is
Tetrak.
Very thematic for Paris.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's such a cute model. I actually think I have one somewhere that I still need to paint. I don't play British, but I just bought the model because it's a Tetrak.
Because it's just cute. Yeah. It's not very good, but it is pretty good. Cheap.
It's very cheap. It does have 405. It does lug around the light AT and 5 MMG shots. You have to choose, of course, but it's so small as well. It can hide behind a lot of things.
It can.
Yeah.
And in the second,
too bad it doesn't have Regge. It should have had Regge.
It should have. Yeah. That would actually make it worth it, I think. Yeah. Right now, for me, it's just 7+. It's not good with a single shot from a light AT gun. Not enough to warrant the 105 price tag. But it's very thematic if you're running paratroopers, and he is. He's got another inexperienced lieutenant. He's got another 2 paratrooper sections. I guess the Bren carriers up here are to transport the engineers.
And what's the other one for?
What's the other one? What?
There's 2 Bren carriers.
2 Bren carriers. There are 2 engineer units.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Of course.
And Vengeance still, yes, of course, and a Lighthouse with a spotter and another Recce Jeep. Yes. So this is an army that is going to be very, very, very survivable. What do we think of its offensive capabilities here?
If they face someone without tanks, very well. If they face someone with armor, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the light artillery, which is a dual purpose, and then they have the Piat, which is 12 inches only. Yeah. That's gonna be hard, and it's a foot slogging Piat, mind you, because
he hasn't got transport unless he opens up one of the Bren carriers and puts it in there.
But then his flamer will be foot slogging all of a sudden.
Yes.
So I think this will struggle if it faces anything with armor.
I think so too. There are choices here that I can see as competitive choices. The use of the inexperienced lieutenant, but a lot of this is thematic as well for me.
It's fun to see that pretty much everybody brings the medium mortar teams regular with spotters.
Yeah.
Where we in at least in Denmark have pivoted to pretty much only bring medium mortars as inexperienced without spotter.
Yeah.
Just to conserve points for something else.
Yeah. So that's a change here. It is very survivable with all the Recce Jeeps here. The Tetrak is going to die so quickly.
Yes, but it'll look great doing it.
It will look great doing it. For me, this is not a strong competitive list. So this is a 2, maybe a 2.5 for me.
But the thing is, it is a British list.
Yeah.
They do have the free artillery observer, meaning if that lands correctly, when he wants
and he is mobile enough to push up his double.
He can suddenly completely collapse a flank.
Yeah, he can.
And I know you hate the Tetrak for the point value, but if you forget about points and look at stats, it can still do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Because it's still a 4+ pen shot into a tank when needed, because he has a high order count, dice count.
And if it is pinned in advance, it's not going to shoot you back.
No, it can go forward towards any infantry unit that doesn't have AT because they can't hurt it.
Yeah.
So I can see this synergizing and working, but I think he is reliant on his free observer unit.
He is. and on the staying power of his infantry, which I
Yeah,
think is
yeah.
really good.
They'll do fine. No
Yeah.
no worries about them.
Yeah.
Would you have chosen Vengeance on this list, or would you have chosen
Yes.
something else?
Yes. I think Vengeance is the way to go for this list. You could make an argument for rifle drill, which gives you extra rifle shots, but Vengeance will affect all your army, and that is better than the other thing, I think. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I would do anyways. So right, that was Edward. And then we have Gary. An American list.
United
Now,
States.
yes. So this, for those of you who don't know, I think David's first love here is Americans. So he brought Americans to the WTC. He brings them to loads of our tournaments. Although he is painting up a Japanese army as well. Yeah, right. So Gary Morgan brings, I guess, 2 platoons of Americans.
I would guess so.
Inexperienced junior lieutenants, early war Marines with rifles and double BAR.
So
nice.
If you're gonna bring early war Marines, why not take triple bars?
Yes, you could. You definitely could. I guess some point saving is going on here.
I mean, then you might as well go with regular whatever. So the point of specifically taking Marines is to take triple bars.
Yeah. So Gary, if you watch this, could you tell us why? What happened? And
I would downgrade my veteran sniper to a regular sniper and take 3 bars more. That's exactly 15 points. There you go.
Yeah, it is. The
Regular
engineers,
nice.
They're perfectly fine. That's the way
I would
to go.
skip the 3 SMGs.
Yeah, you don't need.
Oh, it's one SMG.
It's a single SMG, so maybe he had points left over.
Yeah, that's okay.
Bazooka team always bring one. Always bring one. An AA gun, heavy automatic cannon that is there to shred Stuarts. And a tank, that's the MGMC, which has heavy automatic cannons as well.
And two HMGs. It has a single heavy automatic cannon and 2 HMGs.
Yeah.
This is in theory a good choice, but it is open topped.
Yeah. So it's going to get pinned.
Yep.
A Recce Jeep with an MMG, Dodge truck for some engineers.
Yes.
And then a 2nd platoon, junior lieutenant inexperienced, again, early war Marines, same setup. So loads of these skirmish units. And another engineer unit here.
Yep.
And an artillery rocket launcher, inexperienced. Yes, of course.
Yes.
Another MGMC, another Recce Jeep, and another truck, Dodge truck for the engineers. 19 order dice. Now, you're the American expert, David. What do you think?
I think it has potential, and I think there's some choices that I would personally not take. I like the idea of the M15, but the fact that it's open top will mean that it'll be so vulnerable to anybody with a rifle just looking at it.
Yeah.
And that pretty much takes it out of the game. 2 pins, you're gonna have to rally, or be very, very lucky. That's at least how my dice roll. I think they're gonna struggle when it comes to meeting some of the lists that we have reviewed. I think that this list is going to struggle. I see the basis idea.
The basic idea is to have loads of skirmish, and then if the enemy has light tanks, which is the antidote to skirmish, then you have your heavy autocannons to just shoot them down. And the enemy can't sit back because you can multi-rocket launcher them.
Yeah.
We haven't seen so many light tanks yet.
We haven't seen the Danish meta of bringing two Stuarts in any list that you can take Stuarts in.
Yep. So I guess a lot of these lists we've been reviewing so far in this video here are counter meta lists. This clearly has an idea about what it wants to do. It's got tools. It's got many different tools. It's even got tools to deal with.
But the bazooka team is foot slogging, right?
Yeah, it is foot slugging, but you
Oh,
could put it
go in the
into a
go in
dodge
the
if you
dodge
want to.
truck with
Yeah.
the engineer team. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have to deal with a heavy tank, you've got that as well. I think for me, this is at least a 3, maybe even more, but definitely a 3. It's got a lot of good things going for it, but
It
it
does.
does have very obvious vulnerabilities with those MGMCs.
And the fact that he brings 2 of them, meaning he does not have a single fully enclosed vehicle.
Yeah.
Everything is open topped.
Everything is pinnable. Yeah.
Yes.
I think he believes that he can out skirmish his opponents. So yeah,
And I mean, a heavy autocannon is gonna hurt. It's
it
2
is.
shots on +4, or is it
Yeah.
1 shot? It's 2 shots on +4,
2
right?
shots, yeah.
On +3?
+3. A light autocannon is +2, a heavy autocannon is +3, but that still shreds most stewards.
It's pin enough.
Yeah.
But it's the open toppedness of them is what bothers me. I like the idea of them. I personally have an M16, which is the quad HMG version, and the times that I played with it never gets to do anything because it's such a threat. It gets instantly focused and pinned.
Yeah. Final list for this video will be Jeff.
Oh, I'm not gonna get to look at Graham's list.
Okay, we'll do Graham as well then, just because. Right. Jeff has 15 order dice Americans, 1250. He's bringing inexperienced lieutenants. He's bringing veteran glider squad. I don't know this squad. I don't know why you would bring it. It's got anti-tank grenades as well, which I don't understand. It's 8-man veterans, anti-tank grenade. Yeah, maybe. You're going to have to push up quite a bit in order to use those anti-tank grenades. And he's got 2 of these squads.
And he has both SMGs and a bar, 2 SMGs and a bar.
Yeah, so he wants a lot of shots. These are push units. He wants to push them up into close range and use the bar as sort of an extra SMG, I guess.
Yeah.
And then assault some tanks. Medic. Yeah. Light mortar team. What?
Yeah, so the US can take 2 different types of mortar teams. They can take 2 different types of light mortar teams. They can take a regular light mortar team, which is 3-man unit, and then they can take an airborne version, which is a 2-man unit. It's a little different than other people's light mortar teams. Yeah. So I'm guessing this is it fits into the theme of being a glider army.
Okay. So that's a thematic sacrifice because you're paying 46 points for something where you can get a medium mortar.
Yep.
For 35 points.
Yep. But the thing with this is, and there's an increase in light mortar teams in the Danish meta, is they can move and fire, which is what you want when you want a team to be able to also go and cap an objective.
Yes, true. It's got a sniper team and an inexperienced bazooka.
I don't know. With the way I roll dice, I would never do that. But if this person is someone who usually hits, that's fine. I could see Benny doing this from the Danish WCC.
There are some people who would do this, but oh man,
it's such an important tool in the toolbox for the US to have a bazooka team that can hit. I would never dare get that extra minus.
No. And he's got an EC8 as well, which is inexperienced. Again, I don't understand this. Why? If you're going to pay the points for an EC8, at least bring a regular one so you don't get the -1 to hit. At least. Yeah. You might even go for the gyro stabilizer and just a heavy anti-tank gun the stewards off the board. But
there are no stewards. We have seen 1 steward so far.
Yeah, true. There are
We've
very
seen more
few
heavy
stewards.
tanks than light tanks.
But this heavy anti-tank gun would even be a real threat to the KV2s and all that, the Panzer IVs. Yeah. So I understand that, but you're going to miss. You're buying it inexperienced. You're going to miss that shot.
Soft cover, you're gonna miss.
You're gonna miss.
Be 5s.
and an inexperienced jeep to transport, I guess, the bazooka team.
Yeah.
Second platoon, inexperienced lieutenant, another veteran para squad here. So sticking with the theme of airborne glider stuff.
One of them has a light machine gun.
Yes,
they both have light machine guns.
Both have light machine guns. I don't understand this list.
No, it's thematic.
It's very thematic.
They would have a light machine gun in.
And another inexperienced. Is there something we don't know? Was there like one landing of American airborne troops where all the bazooka teams were fresh out of bazooka school, or what?
I don't know.
And an inexperienced DACA steward as well. I mean, what? No,
and an inexperienced half-track.
What? Why? I don't get this. You know what?
I need an explanation from this guy.
Yeah.
What was his name?
This might actually be a completely new player who doesn't know what he's doing and hasn't got a clue that what he's just handicapped himself. And if
maybe, I don't know.
And
it
Jeff,
could be
if that is you, I'm really sorry that we're pissing all over your list. There are some obvious mistakes here for us. From a
competitive perspective, this could be optimized, is what Bo is trying to say in a diplomatic way.
Exactly. And I'm really sorry for all the acting up here.
It has the theme of being like paratrooper gliders army.
Yes, it does. It really does.
So I don't think, did they have EC8s? I don't think so.
No.
They might have been backed up by EC8s
They might have been backed up by EC8s, yeah.
But they didn't have them themselves. Yeah.
And I don't know, the DACA steward was definitely not in late war America.
No,
anyways, we're ignoring that one. But there was one DACA steward now.
I hope this is the second really cool painted thematic army.
Yes, and I hope you really have fun playing. Right. Okay, just for David's sake, we will give him Graham as well.
I just want to see what Graham brings, because he is I think he's the cheesemaker of the Scottish team, isn't he?
He is. 16 order dice, 1250. He's right on the buck with the order dice. That's where you want to be. That the average was 16.8. But he is bringing veterans, of course he is. So of course he'll not have all the order dice in his way. Right. He's bringing regular lieutenant. Again, I don't understand this one. Why not just the inexperienced? If you're going to go complete cheese. And then 5-man Gurkha paratroopers with submachine guns. 2 of those, they are going to go in Bren carriers, I guess. Yeah. We've seen Graham do this before. He's been fairly successful with it. I don't personally understand this way of running Gurkhas, but
they can be utilized in different ways. They are still dangerous because it does provide him the safety of moving forward. If he puts them in Bren carriers, where when you use your Gurkhas, they do tend to suffer a few casualties along the way.
Yeah, true. And the idea is he jumps out of the Bren carrier, he submachine guns his target, and then he charges the turn after.
Yeah.
So it's mobile assaults, I guess.
And the fact that he has put pins on the target moving forward with the Bren carrier, 8 shots each, that's going to hurt as well.
Yeah. 3 forward artillery observer with an extra man and another veteran. Another veteran submachine gun Gurkha unit here. Up and Adam, of course, because he wants to charge.
But does that I just quickly saw a Bren carrier at the very bottom before you scroll back up. Would Vengeance make more sense if you put your Gurkhas in Bren carriers?
Yes, for me it would. This Up and Adam will only benefit his Gurkha paratroopers, and they might actually not need it. No, because they are there to deliver the pins, the shots, the casualties first, and then the enemy should be pinned out and maybe not give you that much grief back. So for me,
you cannot use Up and Adam out of the vehicle, can you?
No,
because
it
is a charge, so you need to be able to charge.
You need to be able to charge.
Where Vengeance,
so for foot slugging Gurkhas, Up and Adam makes perfect sense.
Yes,
but when you're mounted like this and you're using them in this way, and you have so much other stuff as Graham often does. I think Vengeance would serve him better. But who am
because
I to
it also works
criticize?
with brain carriers, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So if they get the pin because they're open top, they could try and Vengeance the way out of that pin.
Exactly.
Nice.
Then he brings the 25-pounder. Yes, you should always bring that. If you're running Brits and you have the points, bring it. A Stackhound armored car. Yes, I run this all the time. 8+, it's a tank. 2 Bren carriers with regular and the extra pintle-mounted LMGs, of course. Yep. Mini tanks, really good, can split fire. And a Darker Steward. 2nd platoon. Regular lieutenant again. I don't get this.
And the extra man. That's 50 points now that he could have spent on something else.
He could have bought an inexperienced medium mortar for those points. Gurkha paratroopers.
Bought an LMG.
Yeah, he could. Again, two paratrooper Gurkhas here. Again, going for brain carriers. Another light howitzer. Airborne recce jeep. Yep.
They are those two are foot slugging. They don't
have the Bren carriers.
No, he ran out of points.
He ran out of points. He did.
Yeah.
So here we have it. This is a more classic British army, I guess. More classic competitive army. For me, this is approximately 3 or 4.
I would say 4 because it has all the right tools. There's some tweaking that we would do, but I think that's a question of meta.
Yeah, and I guess Graham has been playing this list or lists very similar to it for years. He knows how to do it, so he has a plan for the Oven Atom.
If I was to tweak this, I would go 1 man inexperienced. I would delete the extra man on the spotter, but not the artillery dude.
Yeah.
So that's already 60 points. I would delete both spotters for the light artillery, so that's 80 points. What can you get of fun stuff for the Brits for 80 points?
Well, you could get a flamethrower and a jeep.
You could get a flamethrower and a jeep, yeah.
Yeah. Which would be really beneficial for this list because it hasn't got any flamethrowers.
No, it doesn't.
And it really hasn't got that much anti-tank capability either. It's got 3 light anti-tank guns, but that's single-shot weapons.
It also has the 2 artillery, which has the 25-pounder.
Yeah.
So it actually has 5. Stackhound, 2 jeeps, 2 light artillery. So it has 5 light AT guns.
It's got the Stackhound, 2 Stewards, and the light artillery.
2.
Oh, it's got 2 light, 5, yeah. So Do you think that would be I'm not sure that would be enough against some of the tanks we've been seeing.
So then that's the point. We've seen more +9 armor tanks than we've seen light tanks.
Yep.
Excluding this list. Because this is the first list that has what we would in Denmark see as the meta, which is double Stewards.
Yeah. This is a very meta list. It's a very, very strong list.
Yeah. But I would optimize the 80 points and spend them on something else. How much is a gear team? 60?
You can get it for cheaper than that. 45, something like that. So
that's also an option. Flamer is an option. What else can you get for 80 points?
Well, you can get a paratrooper Gurkha unit more. They are exactly 80 points.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yep.
Right. So that was the list. David, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on this Ascension Day holiday in Denmark.
Yeah. And I will see you guys in the next video. I will bring on more guests to review the lists for Bob. Right. That's it. And I need to